here's our game. I wanted to show you some fun stuff. So you remember we made the level Abilene. The level Abilene ended up being pretty ugly, so we're going to make a new map today. I'm going to make a relatively big map today. I'm not actually making a real map today. I'm just showing you how we build art is what I want to do. I'm going to build a ginormous map so I have a huge palette to play on. So what I've been putting in lately, these are blocking features. These are things that you can't go through, right? So part of what makes a map interesting, let's say I put a map together and let's see, there's a big ass desert. Hey, look, big, huge desert. Woo! So here's my big, huge desert. Notice we have some pretty new desert objects, so our deserts look a little prettier now. Look at that beautiful desert. Isn't it pretty? And I want to like make this desert have some topographical features that you can't just walk through. So maybe I want to have a big ass mountain range and another big ass mountain range and another big ass mountain range. And so now this is the heart of strategy. I can't go through that. So now I have this way or that way. I'm building lanes essentially, right? When we started building these blocking things, originally all of our blockers looked like this. They all looked like one hex. Let me get a dark spire hex. Here we'll start with actually these beautiful little alpine mountains, right? And if you put a whole bunch of these alpine mountain blockers out, you know, it looked kind of like that, and it looked pretty boring. And I said, you know what? If everything is the same size, it looks pretty boring. So what we did is we actually put together a number of other sizes. So here's a slightly bigger one. And if you take a couple slightly bigger ones and just mix them into the smaller ones, you can see it already starts to look interesting and kind of breaks up the hex effect a little bit. But then if we start bringing in some even bigger ones, maybe a big old mountain like that and a big old mountain like that, a couple of these big fellas, right? So now it really starts breaking it up. Now if I bring in like one of these big old fellas and stick that right there, put another one of those right there, suddenly these mountains look pretty organic. And then if I go in and say, well, actually what I want to do is have, you know, some hills around these mountains. And so let's build real quick, let's just build a big pile of hills, right? Hills. By the way, notice the fancy, pretty new hill object that we put in. I think our hills look better now. And then I start putting a couple of these big-ass mountain objects in the hills. Doo-doo-doo. 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 And then I start taking some of those hills and I don't know, let's make a little forest here in this pass. Let's put some kind of plain type areas out around the hills. And pretty damn quick, you have the beginnings of a pretty interesting looking map. But what's nice about the sort of different sizes of things is it allows us to very quickly, you know, if you didn't see the hexes around the edges, let me cover these edges real quick. We've kind of very quickly hidden the whole concept that we have hexes. Like the hexes go away pretty quick, but they're still there, but it doesn't look as, I don't know, ugly and hexy as it did before. Here, let's put some more forest in, put a little forest down here. So yeah, so very quickly you can get to a place where you've got a map that looks not so hexy because I've broken up the constant flood of constant hex shapes with slightly bigger, more interesting blockers. So we put in a bunch of this over the last week. The artists have been working hard. We've got a couple different sets. We have our Alpine set. We also have, here's designed to go in the deserts and wastelands, a sort of, I think this is called the Badlands set. So maybe around these Badlands, I might put some of these wastes is probably an interesting thing to put here. So, ooh, look, wastes. Maybe in the middle of these wastes, I might put a oasis. There's my little oasis right there. Maybe next to the oasis, I might put just a little bit of forest right there, like maybe a little greenery. Like it's not all bad. Like it's not all waste. See, we got a little oasis there in the waste. Like, so you can build stuff like that pretty quick. We've also got what others? We have these big black spires. These are in case you don't like gray. We have black. There's some kind of black spiky mountains. What else did we put in? Oh, this is some of my favorite. I think these look pretty cool. I used to live in Utah, and I used to go down to like Moab and Canyonlands and all of those wonderful national parks down there. So I sent some pictures of those to the artist, and I was like, I want to be in Zion. And so we made some, look, it looks like Zion. I think this looks really pretty. I need to get some new terrain that goes with it a little bit better. Chris, I had a question before about how useful player wish lists of abilities to have on units in the game might be for you. I don't know if you already have a pretty firm idea what sort of abilities you want to have in game. I have a whole lot of ideas, and we've got a whole lot of stuff put together. If anybody wants to suggest ideas for units, I'm always open. I make the pronunciation that I don't feel myself beholden to do anything that anyone suggests, because I might have other plans. But no, if anybody wants to suggest ideas, I am always open to hearing new ideas. I'm always open to the idea that maybe there's something cool that we haven't thought of. I think probably what's going to happen is as we get further along in the process and people are getting early versions of the game to play and you're actually seeing kind of what the game looks like. Anyway, this is the way it works for me. Very quickly you start saying, hey, I was playing this game and I was thinking it would be really cool if we could do X and Y and Z. Can we have a unit that does that? And those ideas tend to come up pretty quickly once you've already got kind of an idea of what the core gameplay is like. Why is there an extra road there? All right, well, get rid of that road. We'll go up there. Look, here's a little path that goes up there. So you make this pretty cool. Look, I've made Zion. So yeah, for those of you who don't hang out in our Discord, and I think everybody in this chat hangs out in our Discord, I check that daily. I actually check it multiple times daily. So the quickest way, if you've got ideas, you're always welcome to drop ideas over there. I love having discussions. Nothing makes me happier than to wake up in the morning and see that you guys had a 20 comment discussion about crap that you want in the game. That's always good stuff for me. Maybe I do it. Maybe I don't do it. We'll see. But it's all, I'd rather have the ideas there and say, nah, we're not going to do that than, have people feel like they have ideas and can't express them. So that's always the case. Look, we have big holes that we can put in the ground. That's something else we added. And then I want to show you, somebody was asking before about, are we going to have snow levels? And I want to show you, I spent a lot of time over the last week making sure that we have a bunch of fun, cool, snowy objects. Starting with, look, big, huge snowy worlds. Right, here's some trees that we can have. I made a special set of snow hills so we can have cool snowy hills because, hills and snow, right? I also put together, if we want to have like really icy areas, here's some big snowy, icy barriers that you can't go through. These will probably usually end up being close to water because they look kind of like icebergs to me. But here, look, here's some big, huge snowy places you can't go. Let's put that there. And then what else did I have? Some other snowy stuff. Ooh, snow swamps. We have snow swamps. So, down here in our frozen snowy swamps, you don't want to go down there in the frozen snowy swamp. And then let's see, what else have I got? Tundra. We've got miles and miles of tundra. So here's some fancy tundra. And then I guess we could probably also use these alpine mountains in the snow. I guess these would make some sense. Let me put that right there. Look, snowy. I probably need to make a set of these that uses snowy trees around it instead of just the... But that's easy enough to do. I need to go do that. I need some snowy tree mountains. But yeah, that's what we've been up to. And I know that doesn't seem real exciting. I know you're like, wow, Chris, that's just some more tiles. This is game development. This is what it's actually like. This is the real world of game development. So yeah, there's that.